Intense, exciting, dramatic, karmic, rare cycle shift in the fates of change. Our nodes are shifting and it's happening tomorrow, January 11th, 2025. We're going to talk about that and how the energies are shifting, where the focus is, the emphasis, what it's going to look like, what it might mean for you, the Aries 0 point, what it means for us collectively and individually. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the other transits that are occurring that are more significant of the significant indicators of a new year, a new chapter, a new shift into a new paradigm, and where we're going. We'll touch on it briefly, but there will be more videos coming out on that. More specifically, today we're just focusing on this 0 point Aries North Node, 0 minutes, 0 Aries, um, the concept of draconic point, a synergistic um, point for the collective, for humanity that is shared, and some of the themes that we're seeing that have built up to this point, and how they might play out over the next 18 years, a little over 18 years. And the last time we saw this was in June 2006. So that could be a good reference point to refer back to in your memory, the most recent memory, 2006 of June. Um, Thank you for visiting my channel. And my name's Michelle Mondragon, and here we explore, learn, and share all things astrology with a ton of enthusiasm because we love astrology here. I am your student astrologer and fellow explorer in divination tools like tarot and the I Ching. So you'll see some of that content on my channel as well. Um, so let's get into it. First of all, I just want to say that my dogs are active at the moment, so you might hear them in the background a little bit. The moon is, I'm sorry, Mercury's on my moon right now, so communication, we'll see how that flows. At least it's direct in Capricorn as we speak. And we are building up right now to, um, we're building up to a moon in Cancer. It'll be a full moon. There'll be a separate video on that. We're also shortly after this nodal shift, and well, I should say the most recent moon we had was an Aquarius new moon, and that was, I believe, at 9 degrees, if memory serves. And so we're building up to this draconic point, this 0 point north node. Um, and the nodes of fate, they move in the reverse pattern of the planets. So it's the next degree that it will find itself in is 29 degrees Pisces. In that, before that, we'll see the full moon on the 13th, January 13th, 2025. It'll be in Cancer at 23 degrees, 24 degrees. And the other big point that is coming up is the Sun conjunct Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree, a little over 1 degree. And that is happening, I believe, on the 20, the 21st. Let me just check my notes real quick. I have so many notes. I've been really wanting to talk about this nodal shift. Um, Yeah, but there's so much astrology happening. It's kind of overwhelming as a student astrologer, right? Um, I've been just a little background about me. Um, I've always had an interest in, not always, I've had an interest in astrology since I was a teenager, more about like a tool to get to know myself a little bit more and to, find out more about my boyfriends or potential boyfriends. And I didn't really like, I would consume a lot of astrology, listening about astrology. Um, and I would read a little bit about it here and there. Um, and I do not see my notes on it. Anyway, and it wasn't until, let's see, I've been a practicing massage therapist for 24 years. So I've been immersed in the realm of healing arts and um, different philosophies and different divination tools. I was exposed to Taoism and yoga and um, other mystic traditions. Um, so I'm just going to check real quick for Arizona time, my calendar, because I have it marked there. Um, 21st, 21st. Um, and that is a Tuesday, 21st. Sun and Pluto meet. That is another jump start to our year 2025. Okay. So it wasn't until um 2017 that I started really listening, like absorbing it more. And in 2020, I made a commitment to learn astrology. I also was going through a crazy Uranus transit, a crazy Chiron transit, and actually still kind of in the Chiron transit, and I'm still kind of in another aspect of the Uranus transit. Um, so it was very difficult to really focus. And so it's been a struggle to really find a system to solidify or create a solid foundation in my life, for one, with a Uranus transit. And but it has been a very healing tool, which I'm really grateful for. And I'm finally getting to a point where I'm getting a groove. Michelle has found her groove. Um, so 2025, even though I've started really practicing learning astrology and paying attention, we've just had so much astrology since 2020, um, more than I could recount here. But if you've been paying attention, you know. And 2025 promises to be another one of those years that we can tick next to the last four. So, at least four. I want to say like since 2017. Anyway, so I kind of digressed a little bit, but we're going to talk about the nodes of fate. And um, up until this point, the nodes of fate, they change signs at every 18 months. And like I said, they move in a backwards or a reverse um, pattern to the planets. So we've been experiencing the North Node in Aries for 18 months and the South Node in Libra. And the just to briefly go over what that means when I say North Node, South Node, Rahu Ketu, I'm talking about like an energy quality that anything that it encounters, it emphasizes or amplifies. So the North Node in Rahu is from the Vedic tradition, and it is the dragon's head. And or it has to do with the dragon's head, and then K2 is the dragon's tail. At one point, they were a, a unified entity, and it was severed, and the dragon was left headless. And so it kind of has this, it doesn't feel itself full or satiated. So this is where it gets the quality of being indulgent, ravenous. Um, it seeks more of what it encounters. Whereas K2 is the releasing the excrement, it is the letting go. It is the um, the purging side of the dragon. So typically, um, and it's part of a series of videos that I have planned coming up, but to focus just on this topic. But the North Node kind of shows us where we're going to be focusing our energy for that cycle of 18 months. It's also a point on the other end where the emphasis is on letting go in that house, or themes to do with the house or the planet or point that it is connecting with. Okay, so with that in mind, let's now talk about Aries and Libra, right? So the last 18 months, we've seen an emphasis of the qualities of the Aries house being um, amplified and highlighted in our collective, in our society and culture across the world. What are the themes of Aries? So, Aries is the warrior, it is the general, it is the defender. Um, Mars, the planet that rules Aries is Mars. So, the god of war. We've seen a lot of war, themes of war for the last 18 months. It's about I, me, and the ego, the instinct, the will, the desire, passion, growth. Mars also has to do with cutting, severing, um, pruning away anything that is dead weight. Um, Mars is not just about, power. Aries is not just about power, but it's about protecting our values, about protecting what our heart desires, about protecting what we care about. Um, on the other side of the spectrum, Libra is Venus ruled, and Venus is more about we, ours, us. So you see the conflict here, right? And it's more relational. It's softer. It's more diplomatic. It is looking for the workaround. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's about harvest, um, in order and fairness, and it's also about values, our monetary values, our physical, like what do we value tangibly, and how do we use that? But also who we love and how we love. Um, so again, it's another form of soft power. They both have to do with values. One chooses diplomacy and emphasizes we, us themes, and the other is I, me, ego. Maybe it's aggressive. Maybe it certainly is more initiatory. It is like the seed, the beginning of the 12 zodiacs in Aries. It is the I. So we've seen a lot. collectively and globally with wars. I'm talking to you now on January the 10th, 2025, and recently we've seen um oh my gosh, that phone is really loud. Okay, one second. One second. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that. I don't know how long that was, or how loud that was, or how long that was going for. I was kind of in the zone. Wars, Mars, Aries themes. Okay, so recently we've seen everything really intensify because we are at um the 0 degree, the very first initiatory spark of I am existence in Aries, the beginning of our zodiacal cycle. We're at the very emergence of it. And the 0 and 29th degree of any planet point or sign is what we call anaretic. So it's again like the most intense version of itself. So we're at Aries at its most intense in the north node with the north node there. And it's just 10 degrees or less than 24 hours before we see it switch over all the way. And over the last couple of days, we've seen more themes amplified around qualities of Mars, which is hot. It is the element of fire and the um, modality of cardinal. So it's initiatory. So there have been fires started, several of them throughout California. So whenever you're watching this, I'm sure we'll have more information about the sources and the origins of this. And at the moment, it's emblematic of the energy signature of the sky. So with and we also see the very diplomatic gestures and posturing of our leaders. Mars is represents leaders, right? One of the planets that represents leaders. And we see a lot of diplomatic efforts around the world to negotiate. I've never thought in my lifetime we'd be talking about negotiating the purchase of Greenland or integrating Canada as a 51st state, but these are all really like interesting themes that are elevated now. Okay, so we're at the most anaretic peak energies of these points and this nodal axis of Aries and Libra. So what happens what does that mean for each of us, and what does that mean globally when we see it at its most um, at the 0 0 0 point? Okay. So one of the things that we might see is shift in leadership. Um, Certainly there'll be an opportunity to align our intentions with our purpose and our destiny for the next 18 years. We're going to 18.6 years to go back for the access of the nodes to go back around through each of the houses again to arrive at the beginning and the end where we're at this moment. So it's like a new saga, a new like the Harry Potter series, right? We're starting a new chapter, a new book, and the themes are going to be shifting for each of us. So, how we mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually step into this space, which is why I chose this because it has like the New Year's vibe, but also it's like a portal or vortex drawing you into new vibrational energies. So, and it's kind of like fire without like emphasizing fire too much. So where were you in June 2006? Um, did you notice any themes that correlated with these kinds of changes um, along the Pisces, or I'm sorry, the Aries Libra axis? Um, Me as an Aries, my this is my first and seventh house axis, and I did actually see a shift in my focus. Um, I think, let's see. Yeah, I just had my daughter and in like the end of 2005, and we had just started moving, like planning, making plans. Got married, I had a daughter, I was making plans to move. So it affected my ascendant, descendant, MC, and IC, the cardinal cross. So and we also had the buildup of it was like the boom before the bust of 2008, right? Anyway, lots of themes that were global. We also there was, you know, what other themes were there globally? So yeah, there's an opportunity here on a personal level for karmic release and evolution, new beginnings, wherever this nodal shift is happening for you. And this cosmic reset is giving us an opportunity to just reflect, to review, to remember the lessons that we've learned with this 18-month cycle, and um, like kind of have an eagle's eye view and perspective of where we're going. So we're now heading into a new cycle starting at the once we've transitioned out of the 0 degree, we go into the 29th degree, which is again, like I said, an anaretic degree of Pisces. And right away, we're sitting with the with Neptune, and I will show you charts here shortly. So, you know, it. There's been such an emphasis on re relationships and this relationship between Aries and Pisces, Libra, and that's fire and earth. And now we're going to be going into water and air. So, and this is more of a mutable access. So there's going to be a lot less, um, there's going to be way more emotional, messy energy, um, and a lot of air, intellectual communication. Um, it's going to be really interesting. So, like, the themes are going to shift to a lot more Pisces and Virgo. And so we might also see a shift in our leadership. And um, I'm just looking at some notes about the global stuff in 2006 to reference. Um, oh, yeah. So one of the things that we see now with Israel and the Middle East were also themes back in 2006. That story, that narrative has a really long history, I think, into the 40s. But you know, Aries is about independence and sovereignty and fighting and defending for those themes. And let's see. Oh yeah, I think we had like um Instagram, and there were some technological advancements. Um, Twitter. Twitter launched in 2006 and it's now X. It's had a transformation in its Aries identity and its relationship to its audience, um, in relationship to how it interferes with politics, right? We've seen that, or how it influences politics for good or for bad. There was also, YouTube launched in 2005 and Facebook. So it all has to do with communication, and those are air themes. So we're going to see, um, it's likely with this nodal shift with Virgo in the South Node in Virgo, we'll see maybe a shift in the influence that platforms like Facebook and YouTube have. And we might, on the other hand, see the focus shift into um, other Piscean themes, more spiritual, um, or perhaps some, I don't, it should be really interesting, like maybe ways to, um, like, I don't know, telepathy or remote viewing or technology to communicate with aliens. I don't know. Like, Pisces is going to be, it's kind of a wild card. It's the outer it's like the ocean. It's expansive and full of potential and unknown as the ocean. That's also a place of expansion and reform and evolutionary potential is in the oceans. We could see more flooding or tsunamis and activity in that way, and um, perhaps boating accidents or themes of power struggles, and taking place in the ocean. Um, yeah, so what are some, I think that's pretty, I just wanted to touch on that from a mundane global perspective in 2006. Those are some of the things that were happening that we can kind of correlate to now that are, um, we have already started to see a diminish of Facebook and Instagram up to this point in terms of its influence and what people are using and the trust, right? The relationship that people have with these platforms has shifted and changed. And we'll see more of that. Um, we'll see more of that, especially because of this AI revolution. It's like the internet revolution and technology revolution. We're having an AI revolution in some ways. But on a personal level, you know, um, uh, Pisces, Neptune, North Node wants to spiritualize, wants to heal, it wants to dream and fantasize, and it wants to nurture and it wants to explore and dream and um, travel far off distant lands. Pisces is also the house of retreat, and that can be a positive, loving, wonderful self-retreat into like a healing hermitage or um, like a yoga retreat or um, maybe learning another language or traveling another land that's not your from your original home. But it also holds the potential for institutions like mental institutions or incarceration. It also has to do with, psychedelics and drugs. So psychedelics being used as a medicine in small doses and with proper set and setting and guidance, or addiction. And those are some of the themes that we could see increased in 2025, 2026. And the disillusionment, some people feel like giving up in Pisces and lose sight of their identity and um, perhaps are more easily influenced into ideologies that um, where they may lose, where one has the potential to lose themselves from the fray. Um, like there's more martyrdom, there's more self-sacrifice in Pisces. Um, Jupiter is one of the rulers, along with Neptune, of this energy. So once we move into the Pisces Virgo axis, we'll start to follow the planet Jupiter and Mercury. Um, and, you know, right away, Jupiter is in retrograde and in detriment. It's not in a good position. So it's likely that we could see themes um, like the darker side themes of Jupiter. And yes, Jupiter is a benefic and it loves to give its gifts and expand things. Um, and like express universal consciousness, connectivity, unity, and compassion. Um, it also um, again can lose itself or sacrifice itself and dissolve itself, like the boundaries, like where I begin and you end, or where I end and you begin, becomes less clear. And so there's some, sorry about that. Ooh, potential for, one second. That was super annoying, and I apologize. I will edit what I can right here. Okay, so um, where was I? Yes, Jupiter, qualities of Jupiter. So I believe I just listed all of the really great qualities that we know about Jupiter as the benefic, and the the other side of that coin is the potential to get lost in the sauce, and things can get very emotionally messy. And while there is potential for healing, as Pisces typically represents the 12th house. It will be different for everyone in your chart, your personal chart. So you'll need to know your natal chart to know where this is happening and what house it will be affecting. But it typically has those themes, 12th house themes of retreats, institutions, health or drugs, healing, um, ancestors, um, going with the flow, surrendering, universality. And so, okay. But sometimes Jupiter doesn't know when to stop. And it can sometimes overindulge. And yeah, so those are some of the things that will be cautionary. And on the other side of the spectrum, on the other side with Virgo, Mercury being the ruler of Virgo, wherever Mercury goes, we're going to have to watch how it's dispensing this letting go energy, or releasing of, or considering a reordering of those interactions, okay? So on the Virgo side, if you're somebody who is really concerned with order and being on time and everybody being on time and things going incrementally on your agenda, um, and a stickler for detail, this is going to test you because the emphasis is on the opposite. No time, no self, no place, no agenda, no goal, or just like the the go with the flow, surrender, and non-attachment. So your attachment to time, your attachment to order, control, and themes of that nature. It's like, oh, if you're critical or if you like things to be super practical, things are not going to be easy. This is just not part of the emphasis that we're going to experience. It's not part of the focus. So, for those who really put a high value on this, it is a practice for you to surrender and let go of these themes, to find new ways to, I mean, it's going to just test what you know about that, your relationship to these themes. So, and it's going to be a good thing because it will open you up to more flexibility, to new ideas, perspectives, to new experiences that wherever it's happening in whatever house it's happening in for you, um, there is a it's meant to unburden you, to help you to be more at ease with yourself in these themes. And so in a way, it's a blessing. May not feel like it, but those are the themes that we're going to be experiencing with this new mutable axis of the nodes, the nodal shift and change with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. So I'm going to take a pause here. All right, bear with me, you guys. I'm going to share my screen. I've been talking a lot and I haven't given you a visual. You guys, I'm going to be doing so much editing on this video. Um, yeah. All right, bear with me. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. That's the one I want. Okay. I've been doing a lot of talking and I have not given you a visual. Okay, so you see there's Mercury over my moon. Um, I'm kind of all over the place. All right, let's see. I'm gonna remove that. And I'm going to bring us to the event that we're speaking of. And we're gonna remove some of these extra displays of points. And here it is. Okay. Oh, shiz. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Just want to expand this. Cool. All right. There we go. Annotations. Okay. All right. So here is the 0 point Aries that we have been elaborating on. And, we've been at the 0 point for the last week. And so you can just pull up any day this week and see themes of what we're leaving behind or what is kind of losing. It's making its last hoorah right now and pulling out all the stops, really. So every day you can see something pretty maddening and crazy and like, hmm, didn't think possible, but is now possible, now present in the collective, and all in this Aries Libra wheelhouse. But now we're shifting. We're shifting. And so this is set for tomorrow, January the 11th. That's a Saturday, Mountain Standard Time for me at almost oops, excuse me, 4 o'clock. Um, and then if let me see if I can I do, oh, let me turn off annotations. Oh, for a second. Okay. All right. No. Sun sign wheels. Okay. Let's try this. Upload that and we'll kind of, oops. Um, all right, I'm going to pause this one more time again to bring this up so you guys can see it better. Ew, Maggie-ish. Oh, yay. All right. Are we recording? All right, I guess we are. Good. Okay. I hope we're recording. Aries. All right, each individual sign now. So, Aries, let's use this guy. Okay. This is moving from your first house to your 12th house and encountering the Neptune. Let me move all of this. There you go. Perfect. That's better. Right here. Um, going to be moving into your 12th house. You guys, thanks for bearing with me. Ugh, it's got to be insufferable. Okay. Also, right as soon as we get into this um 12th house, we're going to be seeing a stellium um with that Venus exalted, slow, moving towards Aries, and there with Saturn and Neptune. I think also obviously Mercury's going to be heading into that sign as well. It's moving in that direction. And by March, it's going to be this huge cluster of energy sitting with the North Node in your 12th house. So it's definitely going to put an emphasis on your personal spirituality, your path, um, making your life, your days for the next 18 months more spiritualized. Philosophical studies, practices, anything that you can do to anchor yourself into some spiritual practice right now will keep you um, on track and hopefully not getting lost or distracted into some of the more um, undesirable sides of addiction, um, getting mixed up in seedy things or hiding things. I mean, drugs, um, people who are dealing with drugs. Um, yeah. And so then you'll also over here in the Virgo house be focusing on letting go of, if you just listen to the first half of all of this, letting go of your need to control things. And um, if you're like me, I grew up in a military family, so being on time means being arriving early and giving yourself a little bit more grace and, accepting that things happen and let go of the need or expectation of others that everyone behave in the same way or have the same standard. Um, Maybe take the approach of, day to day and moment to moment and one task at a time and letting things roll. You know, see what comes up for you in that area that needs to be revisited or what's the word I'm looking for? Mm, well, just revised. It's going to be revised. It's a revision in this area. So ways that you've been doing things in the Virgo house are you're going to have to let go of, and in that process, you will find new ways and a new way of being in that Virgo house in the sixth house. And the sixth house has to do with employees, everyday work, everyday tasks. It has to do with um, um, health. It has to do with um, medicine and medical technologies, routines. What other things with sixth house? Yeah, I'm going to make this part fast because you guys have already been with me for a while now. Thanks for staying with me. Give me a like. Share with me some of your thoughts and comments below. And we'll go ahead and move on to Taurus. Oops. Okay, well, let me get positioned here. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. That's as big as I can make it. So, okay, so now we're going to put the emphasis on your, it's going to be in your, where you are seeing this shift is happening in your 12th and 11th house transition, your whole sign house. And so that has to do with groups, um, your wishes, your dreams, has to do with your communities, your connections, your networks. And so you might be expanding use of technology and networks in, yeah, like probably gone through a little bit of I mean, you've had this North Node in your 12th house. And so you've probably spent a lot of time alone in retreat. And now you're shifting into a period of 18 months where the themes are going to be more out in like out there in the community, not necessarily local community. It could be an online community. Um, yeah, maybe you're expanding the way what you have learned in your 12th house to through the internet. Maybe you're sharing through the internet some of the things that you've learned in the 12th house retreat and your spiritualized experience of the last 18 months. So you'll see that being an emphasis. Maybe having all that time in retreat from the 12th house and moving into your 11th house of dreams, you have revised, you've like reimagined and expanded your idea of what you wish and desire for yourself. And maybe it includes technology. Maybe you got an idea for a new tool that we'll all be using. Um, yeah, so technology involved there, networks. And you're going to be letting go of, or you might see a diminished theme of having to do with your small business. Maybe maybe these themes that you're expanding on are changing how you approach your small business, um, how you approach your children, how you approach joy and fun and themes of the heart. And, that would make sense, if you've spent a lot of time nurturing yourself in retreat and you're ready to go out and spend time um, sharing what you've come, how you've grown with the world. It's going to change how you interact with your immediate family, your kids, and romantic relationships. Maybe you'll be spending more time away from them, or making compromises, or maybe it's changing the dynamics there. Okay, let's see now. Gemini. Okay, Gemini. This is moving into your 10th house, coming out of your 11th, going into the 10th for the next 18 months. And so we can see how you have had um, some kind of reform in your romance, your relationship with your kids, and your business or, romantic connections, or like how you take joy, how you play and have fun, um, pleasures of the heart. So some of these themes are going to be shifting because you got to get down to business, man. Gemini, you already have a really playful, youthful spirit. And, in the 10th house, the North Node is going to get potentially a little bit more serious. Some of the themes of the 10th and the fourth house have to do more with um, building structures out in the world that support your foundations at home. So we'll definitely see more of a boss Gemini. So what will that look like, with North Node there with Neptune, Saturn? Saturn will be a helpful influence there too, because, it wants to make tangible structures of what our dreams are, and so you have had an opportunity, just like Taurus before you, um, to have the retreat, to have the network, community connections, and online um, maybe learning or something like that, having your wishes and desires and dreams revised. And now you have to move and take action to materialize these things. And the North Node is really going to give you a little extra drive there. And there's going to be a focus on building structures for your values and comfort and with the home in mind, but it might take you from home. It might mean a change in home. It might mean that there's additional stressors or, dynamics that need to shift at home. So, yeah, that's what we're going to see for you, Gemini. Good luck, Gemini. Okay. Oh, it won't let me just focus on that one more. Okay. All right. So follow me over here, you guys. Let's see, will it go up more? No. Okay. Okay. So Cancer, it's not letting me show you. Ugh. Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay, you can see that better. This is going to be a shift of focus, emphasis, and expansion of our desires and energy into the themes of the ninth house matters. So we're moving from um, the boss driven, career focused um, North Node into the Piscean ninth. Ooh, it's going to be kind of fun in your ninth house because, again, Jupiter rules this house, and Pisces being the ninth house for you, it's going to be about higher education, learning, beliefs, religion, travel, kind of the fun themes for me. Um, so you might meet you might meet foreigners, you might take a trip and encounter things that expand your consciousness, expand your worldview, or um, maybe learning a new philosophy at a university abroad. And yeah, so it's not just about like like an institutional education. It's more about your beliefs and your it's potential ideologies that you might consume in these foreign places. And it's not necessarily that you have to go anywhere physically, but that your your consciousness is being transported, via these new ideas and or maybe encounters with people from foreign places with different worldview than you. So that's going to be the focus. And with Jupiter ruling that, it's really going to be pretty juicy. And it's going in this case, um, this access now putting a little emphasis here on the third in terms of letting go. So you might want to talk less, honestly. In this instance, that old saying, listen more, talk less is yeah, you could apply that here. You might change the way that you communicate. You might see a change in your local space, right? Because we're talking about foreign, abroad, far off lands. You might change your neighborhoods, leave your neighborhood. Maybe it's the first time you're going out of country. Um, you'll have there'll be an emphasis more on themes of the mind, or changing your mind, um, than than what you're locally used to. I think that's the main thing. You might learn to do something different with your hands or let go of something that you do with your hands in order to do something online, for example. Um, like, yeah, yeah. So that should be interesting. Okay. And let me get over to Leo. All right, Leo. So you've just had that transit of the North Node in the ninth house, moving into the eighth house. Other people. So this is death taxes, spousal income, other people's money, um, inheritances, um, the occult. So this is said to be a house of astrology. Um, Occult means hidden. So any kind of obscure taboo topics you might be more into, there might be an emphasis of your curiosity will be drawn here and expanded here. And with Neptune there, yeah, it'll be dreamy and Venus. Saturn's going to be in Venus is going to move on and Saturn's going to move on as well, but it's still going to be in there for, this year. So, for most of this year. And so there's going to be some kind of um, emphasis on forming these relationships and connectivity, maybe contractual relationships that have to do with money. Maybe you're entering into business partnerships or some kind of investment. Maybe you have silent partner in something, or um, unfortunately, maybe it's possible that somebody could pass and they leave you an inheritance, and that kind of changes. Um, yeah, like you just have some change in your relationships with others, usually financially or in some form of tangible way. So that aspect, that house will be emphasized for you in this case. And in the case of the Virgo house, second house for you, it this is your second house, so it has to do with your food styles. It has to do with things that you collect or um, does it is a money earning house, so money that you make. So, you know, the double-edged sword here is that you might see your personal income diminish. Maybe you lose a job, transition from one job to another, or maybe you lose capacity. Um, Maybe there's just some kind of shift where you're not working as much or bringing in as much income, but somehow your partner is has an increase here. And maybe you're deciding to let go of some kind of like maybe you have a sweet tooth or um, it's also another opportunity to let go of an addiction or just change your food styles overall. Okay. All right, Leo. Okay, we're gonna move to Virgo. Cool. Virgo. So this is moving from your second house into your first. So wow, letting go. This is on your, you know, cardinal cross. It's going to affect everything, even though the emphasis is here on your first house, right here, first house, and your seventh house. Um, it is going to absolutely shift how you show up in the world, how you show up for others, and how you see yourself. It's going to put an emphasis on this house of others, on your relationships. And this is a house of romantic relationships and contracts. So business partners, perhaps. Um, So it's possible that Saturn wants to restructure something here, renegotiate terms of service in our seventh house. And, Neptune's going to be here for a little bit longer too. So some, there's still some possibility of, I don't, just not seeing things clearly, like something hidden or obscured. Um, but the basic theme here that's going to be increased and accelerated, emphasized is in relationships. So you're going to see a lot of shift and change in your relationship, and there's going to be a focus there for the next 18 months. And, it'll be really humbling for the ego. And this could see, because it's on the cardinal cross axis, it could see a total shift and change, anywhere from your home to your work as well. So, South Node you might lose weight, you might shift how you see yourself. Yeah, it should be really interesting because you already are about health. You're health conscious. Mm, hmm. Yeah, South Node on the ascendant is going to be really transformative. So, more emphasis for you on surrender and humbling. Yeah. Good luck, Virgo. Whoops. Sorry. Mm, Libra. Libra, this is going to be happening for you in your 12th house. So you've had the ego death here. You've been humbled a bit this last 18 months and have likely seen a huge shift in your relationship status, or the way that you choose to be in relationship. Maybe you've had, well, anyway, we're not there anymore. We are moving into the 12th house now. So, South Node, um, emphasis on 12th house themes. So, you know, it's a deeply spiritual, psychological house. Um, 12th house also has to do with like past lives. So you might encounter, in your dream state more, you might remember like past lives. Um, this is a time where you're definitely going to be focusing on letting go or conquering some of your addictions, if you have any. And that addiction can be anything. It could just be like an addiction to your phone. Who doesn't have that at this point? And and then you know, you're going to be called to more acts of service. So 12th house, 6th house focus is going to have you um, practically finding ways to channel your energy in service to others. And maybe it has to do with taking on new employees or finding a new job where your everyday mundane life is shifting, but with a tone towards service. And Saturn's going to bring structures to that. And hmm, it will change your health too. So obviously, when you're letting go of something, it might be that you have an increased health, um, You might have a health crisis that shows up in the North Node in your sixth house, and it forces you to let go of 12th house themes. And um, I don't know, maybe you change your routines and put more healthy habits in place. And that that's what the North Node is there to do, is transform your sixth house, your house of routines, service, health, and work. Okay. Moving on now, we're gonna to Scorpio. Didn't have to move too far for that one, did I? Scorpio. Okay, so your North Node is going to be going in, moving from those sixth house themes into the fifth house, the fifth and 11th house axis here. So, North Node in the fifth house is about, your small business startup. Maybe you've been thinking about, um, maybe you've made some new friends and that you've expanded on your ideas of your wishes, hopes, and dreams. And um, you've decided to stop talking about it and connect with these friends and build a business together. And, from the ground up. And another another potential here is that some of you could get pregnant or, get someone pregnant if you're a man. So you might see new children, expanding your family here in this fifth house, or find yourself in a situation where you are spending more time with your children. Maybe when you oftentimes when you start a small business, you are in the home more and, utilizing what you can from home before you expanded to like overhead, like an office or whatnot. So you will likely see more opportunities here to um, take a vacation, enjoy some romance, um, play, spend more time with your kids, expand your family. Hmm. And yeah, Saturn, I mean, Neptune's helping you to dream this up, and Saturn is here to put structure to it. And the North Node is going to be emphasizing expanding opportunities and potentials here. Okay. Moving on to Sag. All right, so Sag North Node is moving into your fourth house. So North Node in the fourth house might see you moving home. It also has to do with your ancestors. You could as well have memories from, ancestral memories that come through, some traditions that come through that maybe you learn about. Maybe you get some, new pings on ancestry.com and you just start like diving deep into it. There might be changes in the home, change of home, or expanding your home. Maybe someone comes to live with you. Um, this is also the house of mother. So, um, yeah, some themes around your mother could pop up or be more highlighted at this time. And the South Node is going to be emphasizing your 10th house. So, you know, these North Node themes of the home, mother, ancestors, or potentially moving will change how you show up for work or how you show up in the world for others, in your work, your career. Maybe there's just you'll feel less of a impulse, push, or drive or energy in these areas. And for some reason you might have to, maybe your work changes and you're working remote now in your home. And so you're letting go of an office space or a location with work. So those are some of the themes coming up for you. And, since you are, and I didn't mention it with the other signs, and I'm sorry, it just dawned on me now because your ruler is Jupiter and the North Node is Jupiter ruled. It's going to, um, wherever Jupiter goes, it's going to affect you, and you are ruled by Jupiter. So there's just going to be more focus, just focus more on what Jupiter is doing this year for the next 18 months, Sag. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah. Capricorn. All right, Cap. So your North Node focus is happening in the third. So third house has to do with communications, local spaces, siblings, um, short distance travel. It has to do with technical, practical skills. And yeah, different forms of communication. So, like what I'm doing right now, talking to you through this technology, going through the practical themes, sharing, talking, and disseminating information from my home, my local space, to this other, to you out there in YouTube land. And the ninth house, letting go of ninth house themes. So the emphasis will be on local. It'll be, you might be like a cat that loves to travel, that loves studying philosophy, these big, broad ideas, religions, philosophies, and things like that. But your focus is now shifting to like some of these things you're going to basically just instinctually want to put some practical, tangible, what can I do with this information kind of vibes. So you're kind of putting the books down. You're not studying or consuming as much. You are putting in systems that you can practically use in order to communicate what you've learned, what you understand. And Saturn is helping, you know, to put structures in place for you to have a foundation for communication in this way. So, and I'm a Cap Moon and a Cap Venus. So I definitely see how this is, you know, yeah, it has shown up. Okay, so we're gonna continue on. Yeah, my local space, my neighborhood is rowdy. My home is rowdy. So I'm sure you guys heard all of that too. All right. Aquarius. Aquarius. I am one of you as well. I have a sun in Aquarius. So the North Node is going to be focused in your second house. It's moving from that third into the second for the next 18 months. So the focus and emphasis of your energy, your awareness, and your opportunities is going to be in the second and eighth house. Okay. So the second house again has to do with material gain, your through work, um, your income through your work and through your efforts. So um, North Node, Saturn and Neptune here for most of the year are trying to expand your awareness around potentialities and put structures into place, bringing fated opportunities and um, and insights and expansion and, juicy energy in this area. Now, it also is, has to do with food and like things that you put in your mouth and things that you collect and things that you value. And so there might be, um, you know, it's possible that you could see more work opportunities, um, maybe new clients. I don't know. Actually, it's kind of iffy because the South Node's in the eighth house, right? So actually, you might have a shift and a change or diminishing energy in your current clients, other people's money, other people's money that you earn from your clients or from your partner. Maybe your partner loses their job and you have to work more in your earnings house. So there is a good opportunity here to make more money for sure. And and an expansion in your values and what you surround yourself with. And yeah, maybe less focus and emphasis on um, relationships where you exchange money with others. Maybe some clients, maybe you lose some clients or um, just see them less or hmm, yeah. What other ways can eighth house? Um, yeah, there might be some, yeah, you might experience some losses. I wouldn't gamble. I wouldn't necessarily go gambling. Or maybe you lose from speculative investments. So just be cautious and careful about those themes. Aquarius. And finally, Pisces. Yo, Pisces, this is happening in your first house. Emphasis on, again, your access. So the way this north node shows up and the south node shows up is, certainly going to put an emphasis on you. Jupiter ruled, watch your waistline. You could expand physically. You could see changes in your body, changes in your how you wish to present yourself, how you identify yourself. You're going to see shifts potentially in your home and work as well. Certainly in your relationships, you may see some losses in relationships in terms of, and it doesn't have to be for everyone. It doesn't have to show up exactly like this, but like you you might see some splitting in relationships, romantic, committed relationships or marriages, okay? But it doesn't have to show up like that exactly. It could just mean that you're more focused on yourself and you're focused on your self-improvement. Opportunities that come your way distract you from your lover or your partner. Um, that might require you to move house or might be like some, grand opportunity that comes your way where it's a big up level in your career. That could happen too. So, yeah, that's it's really a wild card when it hits your ascendant, or in your first, your your cardinal cross. It really can show up in any one of these quadrants. So, but the main focus is going to be on you, Pisces. And so you might be expanding what you desire and what you require for yourself and what you want from the world. And yeah, it should be a really exciting time. All right. So that wraps that up. I'm going to stop the share. Wow. Well, if you're still here, I really appreciate your time. I am going to maybe do some editing and break this up to make it more digestible, and less dog noisy. So, um, the next video that I plan on, oh, you know what? Because it's so close, if you're still watching, I'm going to share with you one more image. Last thing here is this full moon, okay? Like I said, it's basically at 24 degrees. I love this AstroSeek chart because it shows the aspects that the moon is making in the different houses or in the different zodiacal alignments. So, you know, if you're a late degree Libra or an early degree Aries, this could be a little bit of a challenging moon. Certainly, Capricorn with like this Mars in Cancer opposing Pluto, and then, so close to, the Aquarius Pluto opposition here. Um, if you have planets or points at any of these, um, connecting to any of these aspects, it kind of gives you an overview. So you can kind of place yourself on the wheel depending on your ascendant, you know? So, and see how it's aspecting, how the moon is oriented to your chart and how it's aspecting your planets and points. Okay. So, yeah, I will do a brief full moon video. I'm preparing for that. And then also I'm going to do the Pluto Sun conjunction, which I briefly mentioned at the beginning of the video. I know it's kind of been all over the place, but I'm just kind of going with the flow and I will edit as I go. And hopefully, this has been of service and it certainly has helped me to kind of coalesce all of the things that have been in my head that I've been wanting to just put words to and share. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, your presence. Thank you for your likes, your subscribes, and any comments that you wish to share. Love your feedback. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.